Good morning, everybody. My name is Peter Eltondo, and I am your host for the XD Daily Creative Challenges. Thank you so much for joining us today. And over the last 2 weeks, we've been doing a lot of exciting stuff here in Adobe XD. And if you've missed any of the streams or the challenges, you can go back and rewatch those episodes, download the files on the XD website, and go through them. They're not a progressive challenge the last 2 weeks, which means you can jump in any day and get caught up and learn some cool new features along the way. So what you'll want to do is head on over actually to Behance, whoops, I'm missing a screen there, behance.net/challenge/XD. And when you come over here, you can sign up for these challenges. When the next one starts, I believe next week, you can sign up for that too. And you can see the different challenges that we've been doing. So starting from design systems and plugins, auto animate, responsive resize, some of my favorites, and today share for development. You can go in and make sure you guys sign up. You can also, as we come down, check out some of the past streams from some other awesome people like Melody, Andrea, and Sam, Howard Pinsky. So make sure you check those out. And if you have not yet, make sure to join us over in Discord. This is where a lot of the magic of the community happens. And in here, there's some fantastic chat going on, some really active community members. And again, you've got the mentors, Andrea, Chris Cannon, who's going to be on, was on yesterday with Raji as well. Really fun to check them out, Tim and Howard. And everyone's there to give you guys feedback and input and critique. And check out the different channels like pro tips, career advice, and stuff like that. There's a lot to gain from this community, and there's a lot to give, so make sure that you give back as well. So what we're going to be talking about on today's challenge, if we pull that up here, is we are going to be designing an interface for something that I use daily here on the streams, is a live stream scene control app. I use the Elgato Stream Deck. And so you want to identify the different controls needed and create custom imagery and iconography for this. And I'll show you guys a little bit about what that's going to be. But the lesson and the thing that we're really going for today is how to hand off your files to your client or to a developer that you're working with on a project. And so it's really cool how XD will help you prepare those files and assets to make that handoff super easy and seamless. And with that, before we kind of jump in here, I just want to say hi to Cars, Anthony, Grace, Wakar, Julia. I think you guys have been here almost every day the last 2 weeks. So thank you so much for tuning in. But let's come down here. I want to go into some of the inspiration. So again, I use the Elgato Stream Deck, and I'll pull up the controls for that so you guys can see as well. But essentially, it's a little device that I can create all of these different macros for and quickly change the scenes, turn on and off my lights, my microphone, all kinds of cool stuff. And I don't have to stop and look at my other monitor and find the little button. I can kind of quickly check this thing out. It's a good visual representation of the things that I need to change and control. So every time you guys see me maybe glance off, I'm quickly modifying the scene or the settings of things. And it's really got a lot of cool capabilities. So just to pull that up real quick, you guys can see what I've got here. And I've been meaning to really customize this for my own settings here and have some cool, video. This is when I start the video of the stream, a talking head shot, when I show the Discord slide and things like that. And again, lots of cool controls along the way, being able to turn on and off my lights. So what we're going to do is we are going to build out that deck. And so what I've done here is kind of gone ahead for purposes of showing some of this handoff. And I've built this, and I built these to where they're all individual components. So over here on the side, I've actually got a component for video, the talking head, Discord, when I'm actively designing here in XD, when I'm doing my sign off and things like that, all these different things that you might want to have included in your deck. And so we're going to prototype this out to see what it looks like. And so I've set it up to where I've got the deck over here and then what the screen is going to look like through each step. And then I want to get into how do I export these assets for a developer, and how do I make this really seamless and easy for them to then build out the application. So just to scan through, I'm going to go through this part really quick because I want to be able to highlight and show you how to export your files for a developer. And then I want to highlight some of the awesome projects that you guys have been working on. So once again, this is all pre-designed, but I've got in here the different scenes. Again, when I'm talking, this is kind of what it looks like when we've got Discord. And again, all the different features that I want. And so what we're going to quickly do, and then let me just show you one more thing. Because I built these out as components, if I change the icon color here, you see how it's changing over on the right-hand side, so it stays consistent. So that's the advantage of building this once into a component and then using those components throughout the design, is I can change it once. I don't have to go change it in 10 different applications. That makes it really, really frustrating. So let's zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to switch into prototype mode. And you're going to see that I have set up each of these screens, and I just pull these icons over. I move that into the screen that I want it to go to. And then down the way, as we get a little bit further along, once I sign off, I want to start doing things like turning off my microphone, and then I shut off my lights. And so I'm going to walk through what that looks like. And cars, no, I'm not in the green room. I have a green screen, but I'm actually filming from my home office today. I was up in San Francisco last week for the stream. So let's jump in now to how this looks and see what this experience is like. So I want to start the stream. I'm going to click on video. That starts my video sequence. Then I'm going to come in here. Why is that not linked? Let's double check that. Come over here. That should be linking to this. Okay, double check that. Go here. All right, I click on the talking head. Now that that is started, then I want to showcase Discord. Then I want to start designing. Then I'm going to move out. And you guys are seeing how I'm able to do this, and if I were to show a client or to show somebody and train them on this kind of setup, this is a really easy way to showcase a prototype. And it's one of the strongest things about Adobe XD is how easy it is to prototype this out. It just took me maybe 2 minutes to link everything up here in these files. Mark, I wish we had a canned laugh track. That would actually be pretty funny. And that would be, okay, music's a touch too loud. Let me bring that down for you guys. Sorry about that. That would be funny, and it's something I could do with the Stream Deck, which would be really neat. So let's keep moving along here. So we get to see that sequence. I'm going to run through everything. It's a great way to showcase. Now that we have signed off and we've said farewell, as sad as that will be in a few minutes, I'm going to come down and I'm going to start winding things down. So as I move the outro, I mute my mic. And then after that, I don't need to keep my lights on, so I might start turning off the studio lights. And it's as simple as that. And so this, oh, and then I want to stop recording. So this is a really simple way to show the transitions and whatnot, help a developer understand that, you know, as we go through this, what does it look like when these items are active or inactive? And there's a lot of cool things that we can do here. So have some fun with this, you guys. I'd also recommend y'all get into streaming. It's super fun. I do streams on Twitch and getting into some YouTube stuff. It's really fun. It's great to share your knowledge. It helps you learn and grow along the way. So I really recommend you play around with this a little bit. Maybe kind of doing this to encourage you guys to have some fun. So now what we want to do is I'm going to come back out of prototype mode. I'm going to go back into design mode, and I want to start setting up this file for a developer. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to share. I'm going to say share for development, and I'm going to say new link. I was testing out my previous link, but we'll set up a new one. And as that comes up, I'm going to get a public link, and you can password protect this if it's anything that needed to be, you know, protected for some reason. And we'll close out that old link. All right, and so now I can come in here, and this is really great because through this mode, I can also communicate really well with the developer. So let's just say that maybe I decide I want to change this headphone icon. What I want to do is I want to place a pin, and I'm going to bring that over to here, and I'm going to leave an icon that said, didn't like the previous icon, swapped for new headphones, and I'll tag the developer on that. I click submit, and now really quickly this gets communicated to them. They get to see it, and I've made that change aware. So communication is really key and important as you guys are working on projects. So definitely recommend you do something like that. The other mode I can come into here is the developer mode. And so with this, it tells me a lot of really cool information, and it also helps me kind of QA or quality assure or quality check my design. And so here I can see a couple of things. I can see I've used this off-white color, and then I'm using a pure white color somewhere else. I can probably condense some of these colors. Maybe color picker grabbed an off color or something. I've got several dark colors that are near identical. And so I could remove those or condense them to be all within the same color palette, and that'll avoid a lot of confusion for a developer too. But again, I get to see all the colors. The developer is going to get the hex code of all of these. It communicates what is needed. The other, as we start hovering over things, is going to be our typography. So the developer can now see open sans, bold, 24 pixels, and the color of that text. So it's very clearly communicated to them what it is. It also shows some of the interaction. So if there's certain things that I want it to do or timings, it's really, really helpful to have that information. And next, what we want to do is we want to start clicking into some things. And you'll notice we're going to run into a problem, and I'm going to show you how to solve that. It's great that it's showing me, sizings and specs here. I know that I've got 16 pixel corner radius. I have a 2 pixel border. The placement, it even spits out some of the CSS for some of these things, but I can't export this image. So if I'm the developer, I can't grab this yet. Or if I come in here, I can't get the icon that I'm using for the Discord. I can see things again like size and whatnot, but I can't grab the asset. So how do we fix that? Well, we're going to come into the file here, and I'm going to grab the element that I want to be exportable, and I can come over and say mark for export, or I can just really quickly use the shortcut, which is Shift E. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into these different items, and really quickly I'm going to mark these as exportable. So Shift E, Shift E, Shift E. And again, you guys are seeing this is taking me about 30 seconds to do all of this really quickly for my design. Cool. And then if I want to get into things like I also want to give them these screens, these backgrounds. I think this one's a grouping, so I'm going to group those. And we'll do Shift E again. This is another group. Let me group that. Shift E. Another group, Shift E, and that's the last one. And then another thing that's going to be really helpful is I want to give these a little bit better titles. That way the developer doesn't grab the asset and it says group 611. That doesn't mean anything, but I might say designing with head in corner or something like that. This one is going to be Discord overlay. And this is talking head. So really quickly, just go in there and update those things. You're going to want to do the same stuff with your icons. So here we might say muted icon. On this one, we might come in and say mic active. So you guys get the drill. I'm not going to go through every single one of these. But next, we're going to go back to share for development. And all I'm going to do is I want to make sure that include assets for download, and I'm going to click on update. And so with that, I'm going to come back to my screen, and we'll just confirm that that is finished loading here. Let me know if you guys have any questions along the way while that updates. Just sending those up to the server here. And we added a lot of images, so it's just taking a second. All right, almost there. 100%, let's go. Let's get over that hump. All right, I'm gonna say we're at, there we go, 100%. So I am going to hit Control Shift R and just do a hard refresh. All right, and now what you guys see is all of these icons have been brought over. And again, from a best practices standpoint, what we're looking for are things that say muted icon rather than no path copy 14. That doesn't mean anything. It's not best for SEO when we get into other items. So try to name those things with the conventions that you want to hand off to your developer. That is a really important detail. But what's cool now is that I, as the developer, could come in here. I can either scan around and click on an asset and it shows me, and I can download this as an SVG, a PNG, or a PDF. And I can simply click download and it'll download that file for me. Or from this area, I can come in and I can even grab multiple assets all at once and download these. So really quickly, I'm able to help that process for a developer, make this handoff super smooth. And guys, I'm telling you, as a web designer, a product designer, nothing can be more important than having a good relationship with your development team or developers. So doing this kind of stuff where you become their ally, their teammate, their friend, you make their job in life easier, that's when things go really well and really smooth. So really, really great that you can do this in XD and help speed up that process. It's just super, super helpful and handy. And so I can go through now and, this is showing this screen. But what I want to do is I'm going to cycle through a couple of these different ones. And again, now I can download this background here as we get into some of the later screens where we start turning things off. And like this microphone is different. So we didn't have that one set up yet. I'm just going to come back over here. I'm going to come onto this graphic here and I'll say mic off. And I'm going to mark that for export. Once again, I'm just going to hit share for development, update that link, and it's going to push everything back up. I can refresh that page and it'll be there. So what's really neat about this is that your developer could come here as well. Let's reload that just so you guys see the change. So now I can come, I can download that that off microphone icon. But as a developer, I might be here and say, hey, you know what? I can't grab the asset for the Twitter icon. And I might say, hey, designer, can you please mark for export or something? So again, it's so important and it's so helpful to be able to communicate this stuff amongst your team, amongst the other designers. This is a great way to get feedback in your designs as well. So some really, really cool stuff that you can do in Adobe XD. And in short, I mean, like the lesson is short, but it's because this is so simple and Adobe has done such a great job at being able to showcase how to hand off your files to developers. So I encourage you guys in this challenge, have some fun, set up some cool scenes, think about how maybe you might start your own channel and start showcasing either streaming design stuff or games or some hobby or interest. And again, make this kind of feel like your personality, as we've talked about in other challenges. Do something that's reflective of you and showcase how you can set these files up, and then prepare your file properly and take some time and go in and be meticulous to where all of your layers and groupings are organized neatly and nicely to where you can showcase this work to a developer and they're not going to come back with any questions or concerns and misunderstandings of things. So really, really, really helpful tool. With that, we've got a couple more minutes left, and I really want to jump into some of the past challenges that you guys have been doing. I really want to highlight the hard work that you've all been doing and some fantastic stuff. So we've got one from yesterday's challenge, and this is a party planning app. And this was really cool. I loved the illustrations that are done throughout this. So I can see the things that I've been invited to, and it looks like I could accept or decline those invites. And we can come in here and what are you hosting the party for? So I can input things like birthday or some other example. I would recommend just increase the input size for this. This is really small text, so it could be really hard to see. And you could probably utilize more of the screen real estate here and enter the venue for your party. Again, selecting from map might be really hard. I'd rather just enter an address or search for a location. So you could probably simplify that. Enter date and time. Again, here I would just give like a calendar picker and let people select stuff. And then I liked this, like you add personality to your application. I'm feeling lazy. I want to send later, but I want to send them now. And this was really cool. I loved the way you incorporated the illustrations here. You give a lot of personality into this application. So really nice job on that project. And Ed, yeah, I'll post a picture of my battle station and room for you guys later. Maybe I'll do that in the XD chat. But the green screen will block out everything. I can't shut that down. Yesterday was really funny though when Andrew was here because he's way too tall for it. So we had to have him like kneeling down on something because he was taller than the green screen goes up. But we've got another great project here from Justin Garcia. I love the dark mode on this. I would be aware of some of the color contrast. So, you know, this like purple text on top of the yellow is really hard to see. And yellow can be a very difficult color to read on. So I might recommend using the yellow as a small accent, but maybe simplifying this to a slightly different dark color. The blue or purple would be a lot easier to read, or maybe even white. And again, use those colors as accents, but really nice job throughout this. I love that you broke down all of the assets and things that you were using here. And then coming down, you know, we can check out this video and I'll let others explore this more later. But like the way you incorporated elements from your loading screen into the elements of the next item. And if you guys go back and check the auto animate stream that we did, I think last week, you'll see as long as you keep layers named the same things, you can do a lot of those transitions from screen to screen. So really, really cool stuff. So you guys can check out Justin's project as well on Behance. I wanted to highlight this other project from Dan over in the UK. I loved the look of this Alexa app. It's so cool when you're able to bring in real photography and like personalization of things. So having London, I believe we're showing Big Ben, and I apologize if I'm making mistakes on some of these, if I'm incorrect on that. But I love getting to see it. I get to see the rain, the cars, the traffic. When we look at Greece, I get to see this beautiful beach in Greece. Oh, that's Celsius. I was like, wow, that's really cold for a beach day, but that's Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So great job here. It's so simplistic. This feels really clean and personable, and you know, I love getting to watch the video here too, bringing that personality and animation in. And I have my sound muted, so that way I didn't accidentally have any audio stuff going on, but really cool getting to watch this and doing the voice triggers. So great job there. We've got another one from Wakar. Awesome job throughout all the streams, or all the challenges, I should say. I really enjoyed watching your work. And great job here with this RSS reader. I love you incorporated that light and dark mode. The imagery that you've got here is so appealing, and the visual hierarchy is really good. I clearly understand who put out this content. The artwork and cover graphics were really well selected. And then I get to see things like, I don't know, popularity or ratings and some comments about it. So it's just, this is super fun and engaging, and it feels like something that I would use on a daily basis. So excellent job with that project. Coming down, Danning, I've always enjoyed your projects throughout all the challenges I've been a mentor on. I love that you incorporated some anime here. This one I wanted to point out, I love the presentation and the way you incorporate the elements like these shapes in your project, and then you incorporate that into your presentation. It's fantastic. I really like your dark mode, and I think it's because there's less variation of colors, whereas I feel like when we get into the light mode, some of these screens, I had a hard time with the visual hierarchy of, I go to the big image at the top, then I go down to the player here because this draws my eye, and then back into the middle. And I think it does a better job on the dark mode because now I'm reading this top to bottom. So really think about that as you guys are working on your projects and challenges, and see, you know, how you set that up, and like glance away from your project and come back to it and just recognize mentally where your eye darts to on your designs. It's a really good tip and challenge that you can just incorporate on a daily basis to make sure that your stuff is dialed in. With that, I want to say thank you all so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you've learned a lot. Make sure to keep posting your work in the daily challenge. Discord, or the Adobe XD Discord in the challenge channel, and we'll be sure to give you guys some input on that. And thank you all so much. Love the work that you guys are doing, and hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Take care.